trading strategies using Camarilla Pivots. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. That's what we want to do today. And we want to ensure that we get the right kind of approach. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm sure that all of you will definitely get key takeaways, because whole objective of today's session is to show you how you can do things better, faster, and more efficiently. Let me just share with you a brief disclaimer. We are going to be talking about some strategies. We're going to talk about some approaches. I'm going to be also having some detailed Q&A sessions with you. So all these things are focused on helping you discover the stages of trading. I'll show you exactly where you are right now. I'll help you get that perspective. Then you will find out what are the 3 simple ways, right? सबको जानना है कि easy तरीका क्या है. आजकल सब लोग lazy हो गए हैं. Nobody wants to work hard. So everyone wants an easy way out. तो easy तरीका क्या है? Easy तरीका तो बहुत सारे हैं. There are legal ways to do things, illegal ways to earn money. Now you have to decide how do you want to go. I'm sure that since all of you have come here, you want to go the legal route. तो आपको बताऊंगा कि मैं मार्केट में अगर जाना है और मार्केट में काम करना है, तो you have to find out how can I select the right stock. That is the biggest problem today, right? That is the biggest problem today. And stock तो select कर लेते कैसे भी, right? But होता क्या है, पता नहीं चलता कि क्या टारगेट रखना है और क्या स्टॉप लॉस रखना है. How many of you are in that bracket? Give me a thumbs up. How many of you are in that bracket? कि स्टॉक तो किधर ना किधर से मिल जाता है, बट होता क्या है, समझ में नहीं आता कि कहां एग्जिट करे, गाड़ी से कैसे उतरे, या गाड़ी का डेस्टिनेशन क्या है. And all these things are part of today's session. What I'm about to show you today will completely rattle your way of using pivots. I'm telling you rattle. आप हिल जाएंगे जो मैं आपको simple approach बताऊंगा तो, right? Because pivots always looks very simple. क्यों? क्योंकि it is representing the mean of a traded price. तो जो नए लोग हैं उनको बता रहा हूं, तो जब भी आपके पास एक पिवट वैल्यू आएगी, यू कैन ऑलवेज एस्टिमेट. टुडे द प्रॉब्लम इज एस्टिमेशन, राइट? व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? एस्टिमेशन. आपको एस्टिमेट करना है कि आगे चल के क्या होगा, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों को अधिकतर पता नहीं चलता है कि कल क्या होने वाला है, कल किसने देखा. सो टू एंश्योर दैट कल किसने देखा और कल क्या होने वाला है, we have to ensure that there is some mechanism available, and that is the beauty of pivot. It gives you an opportunity as a day trader, as a multi-day trader. It gives you everything. Now when you are going to use pivot, it tells you what could be the potential target zone, what could be the potential stop loss. सब आपके पास होता है. कर लो दुनिया मुट्ठी में, राइट? ऐसे कहने के लिए तो आसान है, बट लेकिन एग्जीक्यूट करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. बट पिवट्स के साथ वो आप कर पाएंगे. दैट इज व्हाट इज हैज बीन माय एक्सपीरियंस, एंड इट गिव्स मी ग्रेट कॉन्फिडेंस. एंड यू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ माइंडसेट व्हिच इज एट वर्क, व्हिच इज हेल्पिंग यू जनरेट दिस काइंड ऑफ मोमेंटम. तो जब भी इस मोमेंटम के बारे में हम बात करेंगे और मोमेंटम को समझने की कोशिश करेंगे, तो ज्यादातर लोग जब जाते हैं और ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं तो आपको कुछ इस प्रकार दिखेगा, राइट? whenever you take a look at the markets, or whenever you take a look at the website, right, you will see some pivot approaches which looks like this. Now ये तो सारे नंबर्स हैं. कोई कहेगा ये एक्सेल शीट जैसा लग रहा है. R1 रेजिस्टेंस हो गया, S1 सपोर्ट हो गया, इसको रख के करे क्या, ये आपके मन में कभी सवाल आ सकता है. तो इसके बीच एक प्रॉपर अप्रोच है जो मैं रेगुलरली यूज करता हूं, और वो आपको मैं डेमोन्स्ट्रेट भी करूंगा. ऑलराइट, नाउ वंस अगेन गोइंग इनटू द डिटेल्स, this is how it looks on any charts on your broking terminal or wherever you would like to go. It will look somewhat like this. right? It will look somewhat like this, correct? Now, when you actually put it on, when you put it on a particular chart, okay, when you put it on a particular chart, then this is how it looks. It looks like this, right? And then your pivot is the centralized data point. High, low, and close divided by 3. When you divide the high, low, and close divided by 3, you get the pivot, right? You get the pivot, and this pivot helps you to estimate based on the formula, all right? You can use pivot and estimate based on the formula. So based on the formula, you can find out what are the resistance and what are the support. तो pivot हमेशा सभी टाइप ऑफ सेटअप्स पे, अगर आप डेली पिवट लोगे, वीकली पिवट लोगे, मंथली पिवट लोगे, आप सब टाइम फ्रेम का पिवट ले सकते हैं. यू कैन टेक टाइम फ्रेम फॉर एनी टाइप ऑफ टाइम फ्रेम. नाउ व्हेन यू टेक अ पिवट, what differs from one pivot style to another is the formula. So like we have discussed and agreed, we are going to be stepping into Camarilla pivot. All right, we are going to be stepping into Camarilla pivot and find out that how can we do things better, right? How can we do things better? Because we want to work more efficiently, और हमें देखना है कि efficiently काम करने के लिए काम कैसे करें. Okay, so yes, many of you are using pivots, and now may I ask, how many of you are using Camarilla pivots? Right, how many of you are using Camarilla pivots? Can I know? Okay, I have a couple of me's here. All right, all right. Okay, fine. So around 50% of you are saying you are using Camarilla pivots. So now let's get into Camarilla pivots and see how to use it better. So first, before that, try and understand these levels, the R1, R2, R3. Okay, these are the resistance zones where you need to focus when you are engaged in a long trade. Okay, the supports are when you have to engage on a sell trade, right? So now when you're going to go and check it out, okay, when you're going to go and check it out, so these are basically support and resistance. Resistance are when you are going to take a long, support is when you're going to take a buy. Now what is Camarilla pivot? So when you take a look at this concept of Camarilla pivot, it is a formula which is using the pivot approaches, and it was developed by a person called as Nick Stott. He was a currency trader and he used it. Okay, he used it and ensured that he is able to give you some basis. What one of the major differences is that it is done basis the opening price of the next day, and it also factors in the previous day's close. So when you use a Camarilla, okay, when you use a Camarilla, it gives you a very good reference point. So Camarilla pivot, one of the differences, it takes a reference point based on the previous day's close. So that gives you an idea, that gives you an estimation, and it takes care of the price movement, price expansion, and it gives you various sets of levels. Now, when you want to plot a Camarilla pivot, you have got various formulas here, right? ये फॉर्मूले में आप देखेंगे कि क्लोज भी यूज होता है. पिवट का फॉर्मूला था ओपन हाई लो, right? High, low, and close upon 3. That was a pivot formula. And in Camarilla pivots, it is a reference is drawn to the previous day's close. So what happens is it gives you an idea. It gives you an idea of the levels. So when it is available in front of you, it makes it easier. So Camarilla pivot is an overlay on the charts. And what does it do? It tells you that when a price is going to expand. So there are many levels here, but then out of these, there are certain levels which I give importance to, and that is what I'm going to be showing. तो यहाँ पर इतने सारे levels में से सारे levels पर काम नहीं करना है, कोई specific level पर काम करना है, and that is what is my strategy all about. So my strategy tells you that when a particular move is going to occur, okay, when a particular move is going to occur, we will be ready for it. There will be a proper confirmation mechanism, and that will ensure that you are able to participate in the market correctly. So are you guys ready to enter into the trading strategy? So please type IMR. Come on, guys. Are you guys ready to enter into the trading strategy? Okay, great. Awesome. Yes, some of you are typing while others are thinking what to type. All right. Okay. Let's get started. Let's get started with this strategy. Okay. Okay. So the strategy which I am going to be sharing with you today, this strategy is called as the escape strategy. Okay. Why is it called as escape? Because if the prices escape, okay, just like if a prisoner escapes from a jail, what does he do? He simply runs, right? That's what happens in escape strategy. When you apply the rule sets which I give you, you will see that the price begins to run more often than not, right? It's not 100% foolproof, but the nothing is foolproof in the market. Now you may start asking me whether it will work on all the stocks. Hang on, understand the strategy, you try to absorb it, and then let's get into the examples. All right. So now, as I explain the strategy, try and understand it so that you are able to connect with what I'm about to say. Now, in this escape strategy, there are certain rules which I'll be sharing with you. So what are the essential rule sets? Okay, let's try and understand. Now, when you talk about rule sets, okay, when you talk about rule sets, it is very important for you to find out how the market is going to flow. So the trend of the stock is important. You also should know exactly what is the current situation which is there. So that's why the identification is very, very critical. Identification is very critical, right? And in the identification process, I am using the H4 or the L4 only. Now you ask me why 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is where the stock is warming up, right? Stock is warming up, stock is preparing itself, it is deciding. But hota kya hai? How many of us like to trade at 9:15? Yeah, how many of us like to trade at 9:15? Let me know. Okay. Okay. Right. And what happens when you take trade at 9:15? When you take trade at 9:15, the stock more often than not reverses, right? It ends up in a loss. Why? Because at that point in time, your trade is trying to get set up. And that's why identification is important. So I'll show you how to identify a setup. Now, I normally trade on a 15-minute chart on the intraday. Okay. तो 15 मिनट मुझे 15 मिनट का कैंडल अगर बाय कर रहा हूं तो 15 मिनट का कैंडल शुड क्लोज अबव H4 एंड आई शुड हैव अ फॉलो थ्रू, देन ओनली आई गेट कंफर्मेशन. तो पहला हो गया मेरा आइडेंटिफिकेशन, बाद में हो गया मेरा कंफर्मेशन. जब तक कंफर्मेशन नहीं हो जाए, ओके, जब तक कंफर्मेशन नहीं हो जाए मैं उस पे काम नहीं कर सकूंगा. व्हाई? बिकॉज अगेन आई विल एंड अप विथ अ फेलियर. करेक्ट? तो जब भी आप पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहेंगे आपको कंफर्मेशन की जरूरत है. होता क्या है, सबको खुजली है, सब लोग चढ़ जाते हैं स्टॉक पे, बाद में देख लेंगे. हु फील्स बाद में देख लेंगे ट्रेड लेने के बाद? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू जस्ट टेक अ ट्रेड एंड देन सी कि चलो स्टॉप लॉस का देख लेते हैं, राइट? अगेन आई एम हैविंग अ होस्ट ऑफ मी हियर. So the thing is that you are so taken up by the move that you want to participate. And that's what happens because in the market either you make money or I make money. So your mistake, I make money, my mistake, you make money. So we have to ensure that our mistakes are reduced. And that's why the confirmation technique is very important. And then what I do is I use the levels of H5 and H6. Okay, I use the levels of H5 and H6 for profit booking. तो अगर H5, H6 में मैं profit book करूंगा, L5, L6 में मैं मेरा short book karunga. H5, H6 is for the long, L5, L6 is for the short. So you can see here that using a philosophy which I have devised, which is the ICE philosophy, identification, confirmation, execution. हम लोग क्या करते हैं? Execution, right? खुद गब्बर. Identification, confirmation बाद में देख लेंगे. Right? I'm sure that many of you fall in that bracket. मैं भी कुछ इसी प्रकार था. मिस्टेक से लर्निंग होता है, तो ये मिस्टेक से जो लर्निंग है वो आज आपके साथ में शेयर कर रहा हूं. अनलेस एंड अनटिल आपके पास स्ट्रैटेजीज बहुत रहेंगे, बट लेकिन मैं जो स्ट्रैटेजी आपको बता रहा हूं उसे मैंने तोड़ कर आई हैव पुट इट इन वेरियस बकेट्स सो दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. एंड वी आर गोइंग टू सी हाउ टू इंप्लीमेंट दिस प्रोसेस. नाउ यू कैन सी हियर दैट if the daily charts are looking good, it will be an added. So if it moves above previous day's high, then it's a good insight. So you can see here, it moves above your H4. That's where you get the first signal. Then if it moves above the previous day's high, it's very good. Added signal, then you can start entering the trade. And then once you get the follow through, you can place a stop loss below H3. Enter above H4, place stop loss below H3. That's how you can ensure that you're optimizing your risk. And always you got to use a confirmation tool. And that's what makes it very, very easy for you. And I'm going to be showing you how. And once you reach H6, it is a profit booking zone. Profit booking zone में profit book करना है, नहीं करना है, आपके ऊपर है, right? अभी आप बुक नहीं करेंगे और फिर इट जस्ट लाइक यू आर पासिंग थ्रू सम स्टॉप, राइट? सपोज यू आर ऑन द रोड, you see a hotel there and a hotel is available. If you want to have your lunch at the lunch time, you can have. Otherwise you keep going and then you may not find any hotel. The hotel was available, you didn't have lunch. That's like H6 is there, it's a profit booking zone. Chances of reversal from there is also very, very high. So that's what I believe, that all these levels are very good. The more you apply it, the more faith you will have. And that is why I am showing it to you, a method which I have been using consistently. You can see here once again, another opportunity. Again, it spent some time. And then what happened is that as soon as it moved above H4, you had a strong driven opportunity, correct? You can see here the price moves strongly as it heads higher. A strong move, correct? It heads all the way. It may travel above H6 as well, but then वो आपके हाथ में नहीं है. आप एक बात समझ लीजिए दोस्तों कि मार्केट में प्रॉफिट is not under your control. What is under your control is your loss, right? How many of you agree with me? Profit is never under our control. तो लॉस आपके हाथ में है. आप लॉस कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, आपका एंट्री कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, आपका रिस्क कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. होता क्या है, हम ओपन एंडेड प्रॉफिट का सोचते हैं, लॉस का सोचते ही नहीं. तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं सिंपल टेक्निक्स टू ऑप्टिमाइज योर रिस्क एंड मैक्सिमाइज योर प्रॉफिट. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड. You can see here that once you enter the trade, place a stop loss below H3 and you can book your profit. चलो बाय साइड. अभी सेल साइड देखिए, ये था. अभी जैसे ही L4 के नीचे गया तो आपने आपका शॉर्ट इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया. अगर डेली चार्ट में प्रीवियस डेज लो के नीचे गया तो एडेड एडवांटेज है, करेक्ट? एडेड एडवांटेज है. और ये जैसे चलते गया, आप डिसाइड कीजिए आपको कहां पर बुक करना है. लेकिन जब H6 पे आएगा, ओके, H6 पे जब आएगा तब आपको जरूर, आपका स्टॉप लॉस होगा L3 एंड योर you can book target wherever you think fit. Correct? So now you can see here that the way the prices are moving, it is very clear that there is an opportunity, and once it starts moving beyond H4, I find that the movement triggers a very strong momentum. All right. So let me just show you some examples. Okay. Let me just show you some examples here. Hang on a moment. Okay. Just hang on. आप किस पे भी कर सकते हैं. आप you can show it on. I'll just show you on this. Okay. Right. Can you all check my, can you all confirm if you can see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Right. So आप देखिए, आप कैश में कर सकते हैं. You can do it on cash. You can do it on you can do it on anything. Absolutely no problem. So you can see here that in this particular stock, let me just tell you that these are the green lines are the H4 levels. Let me just also introduce the labels here. Hold on a moment. You can see here that once it crosses H4, okay, once it crosses H4 is where you can see the movement. You can see here. You can see here that once it crosses H4, there is a steady move. There is a steady move, right? If you had purchased 1 lakh worth shares of around 100 in a day, you could have made 10,000 rupees just on 1 lakh, because that's the kind of move it gave. It gave a move of 100 points from H4. See here, steady move. Enter when it crosses H4, and then once it crosses H4, then you can see its steady move to the upside. Let me show you another example. You can see here that in this particular move, all you have to do is wait for a move above H4. You can see here, you wait for a move above H4. H4 के ऊपर जैसे ही प्राइस चले जाता है, देखिए यहाँ पे H4 के ऊपर प्राइस चले गया, right? What happened here? Price went above H4. Okay, price went above H4, and then what happened after that? The price started moving up. Correct? So you can see here that the strong move, okay, the strong move which is emerging here, it is clearly indicating that the prices are heading higher. देखिए यहाँ पे it goes to H6. You can see here what happens at H6. What is happening at H6? Can you all tell me? Yes. Can my audience tell me कि H6 पे क्या हो रहा है? Yes, H6 में प्रॉफिट बुकिंग हो रहा है. वेरी गुड. राइट, H6 में प्रॉफिट बुकिंग हो रहा है. ओके, और क्या हो रहा है? राइट. तो अब जैसे ही H4 के ऊपर निकला, H4 के ऊपर निकला, H5 तक गया, ये आपका फर्स्ट टारगेट है. H6 तक गया, आपका सेकंड टारगेट है. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि जैसे ही प्राइस H6 तक जाता है, तो there is a strong profit booking zone. You can see here for so much time there was a resistance, so that's why it is a very strong resistance zone. All right, so you can see here, let me share some more examples with you, and then I'm going to be doing an exercise with all of you guys. Okay, you can see here in this stock, Minimum Finance, if a stock opens above H4, if a stock opens above H4, मतलब उसमें काफी बुलिशनेस है. आप देखिए यहाँ पे सीधा H4 के ऊपर खुल गया, तो वो स्टॉक इज अ बेटर स्टॉक. व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑलरेडी एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द डे, देयर इज अ इनहेरेंट बुलिशनेस. ये रूल्स आप रिवर्स कर दीजिए ऑन द शॉर्ट साइड, द सेम रूल अप्लाइज. तो आप देखेंगे कि अगर L4 के नीचे खुल गया तो मतलब है कि खुलते ही बेरिशनेस आ गया। H4 के ऊपर है मतलब खुलते ही बुलिशनेस आ गया। हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर विद मी? गिव मी थम्स अप। ओके, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर एबल टू गेट दिस एस्केप स्ट्रेटजी? गिव मी अ थम्स अप। ज्यादा लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया लगता है, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है। चलिए, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लग रहा है तो उसे हम सॉल्व कर देंगे, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। ओके, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। ओके, तो अब हम क्या करेंगे? What I want to do is I want to talk to all of you and find out how many of you have got this, how many of you have not got this. So what I'll do is let me just find out. Okay, just share with me some names. चलो आप लोग, अभी आपको लग रहा है कि मैंने कुछ एग्जाम्पल बताए, आप लोग बताइए। ओके, वैभव, you are not understood, tell me a stock. Okay, so let me now go to one stock, and I have got the stock of Axis Bank. All right, so let me just put here Axis Bank डाला मैंने। Axis Bank में आप अभी काम करेंगे। ओके, तो Axis Bank में क्या हो गया? Axis Bank directly it has opened at H5. Okay, when a stock has opened directly at H5, all right, when a stock has opened directly at H5, then it makes it very difficult. Okay, it makes it very difficult to execute the trade. Why? आपका स्टॉप लॉस कहां पर होगा? आपका स्टॉप लॉस कहां पर होगा? When you take a trade here, आपका स्टॉप लॉस होगा at H3, right? At H3 will be your stop loss. So your stop loss will be here below this. I have actually hidden H3, right? But it will be below this. So your stop loss will be much wider. The stop loss will be much wider, and that's what makes it very, it's not a good proposition to look into this. Okay, so now let me look at some more stocks which people have said. Okay, there is a stock of Pidilite. Okay, I'll also go into the index, don't worry, I'll also go into the index. Okay, now somebody wants me to review Pidilite, right? So now what has happened in Pidilite? Pidilite, it moved up, right? It moved up and then it stayed there. It moved up and it stayed there. So now when such things happen, as an intraday player, you can exit at a no cost scenario. If you were a multi-day player, right? And at the end of the day, if this is holding up, then you can also consider it as a BTST because it is holding the highs and it is holding this level. So now as you look at the markets, market is expected to open gap up. So you will be benefited, right? The stock is holding and it is holding above the resistance zone. So it's a good opportunity for you. Okay, there are a lot of index guys. So let me go down to Nifty and also satisfy my index friends. चलिए, ये रहा निफ्टी का चार्ट. Okay, so on Nifty, you can see here that there was a opening. There was an opening on 16th, and you got a move of around almost 80 points, which is a good move in index. Okay, you got a good move in index, which is around 80 points. So here it opened above H4. If it is close to H5, then it becomes more risk. All right. Now you can see here that here it has opened closed. It has opened above H5. So which is quite risky. But if you are familiar with other tools and mechanisms, you can enter, but not based on this approach. I hope the index players are getting an idea. Okay, so I am having Balrampur Chini here. Okay. Let me go to Balrampur Chini. You can see here that if a stock is between pivot and it is not going below L3, if it is between pivot and it is not going above H4, that means that that stock is not interested. So you can save yourself from this situation. What is the problem? That अगर आपने व्यू बना लिया है तो आपको उस पर काम करना है. How many of you are like that? अगर आपने व्यू बना लिया है तो आपको उस पर काम करना है. Right? So that is the situation. Let's take a look at some more stocks. Good to see participation. You can see here that if a stock has opened here, okay, if a stock has opened here, now if a stock has opened well above H6, then it makes it very, very difficult, right? It makes it very, very difficult. Why? Because your risk is increasing, correct? Your risk is increasing and you're having challenges to take this trade. So how to avoid this challenge? And it is not that if a stock opens above H6, it will not move. But then there are certain other filters which need to kick in. And that is why it becomes important to see how to make it work. So that's where some bit of education, all those things come into play. Let me just go into Bank Nifty and see what could have happened in Bank Nifty. Again, you can see here that on Bank Nifty, because of the gaps, there has been a movement here. You can see here on this day, on 14 March, once the price goes above H4, you will see a movement. So if a price opens directly above H4, then you can hold on to this position, like I said, and you would have benefited because the day opened up well. Now, once again, here it opened above H6. So all the time you have to take into consideration the risk factor. What is the risk? Your risk is your H3. The distance, the later you enter, the more riskier it gets. So pivot gives you that flexibility. और pivot में जब भी आप levels के साथ use करेंगे, it will be easier for you. Let's take up. You can see here that if there is no movement above H4, if there is no movement above H4, then you will not see any move. Now, for example, this stock, okay. You can see here that it moved so fast. And even after this zone, there was a move, correct? Now, these are additional ways in which you can use Camarilla, which I cover as part of my other session. I don't want to confuse you with many strategies. I am showing you one particular strategies. And what is that strategy? Strategy is as soon as it moves above H4, you can participate. But then there are multiple ways in which you can use Camarilla pivots, and above H6, it shows a faster move. Above H6, it also shows you a faster move. Okay. Again, you can see here that Bajaj Auto gave you a move here and it moved around 30 points from here. So what is happening is that every time a stock moves above H4, you will see a strong move. Or if it goes above H6, you will see a faster move. So essentially, there are two legs of a move. And what is that move? Move is from H4 to H6 and H6 and beyond. Now, when you take a look at all this, I have got people asking me, okay, people are asking me now, how can we address this situation? All right. How can we address this situation? How can we look at all these things and also trade in a better manner? Because stocks are moving so fast, right? Stocks are moving so fast that sometimes it becomes very challenging to participate. Correct. That is what is the issue. And many of you feel that such movement may get restricted. Yes, I understand that yes, movements may get restricted, and when you are trying to find out how a stock is going to behave or when a stock is behaving, it becomes a challenge for us. So at this point, many people feel that they are challenged by technical analysis. This is where I say that knowing and implementing is not the same.